Alrighty guys, here we are at part 3 of the Yz80 engine strip down. Hope that little aircon over there is not too loud, it's quite warm at the moment. I was lucky enough to be down in Melbourne today, so they didn't have the flywheel puller that I wanted, but they got this one here, so it's like a 6-in one apparently, but the one size I needed was M27. So I'm going to now be removing the flywheel. So this might get filmed over a few days, but I'll edit it all into one video. I'll just have to see how I'm going. So because I've taken the clutch assembly off the other side, I can't really lock up the motor to stop this from spinning, and I'm going to undo this nut. So I'm going to do something that some might not agree with, but it's going to get the job done, you know. So I'm going to stick my finger up in here, get the piston down, and so the piston's down. I need to be able to lock it up somewhere. So what I'm going to do is use a piece of rope. I'm going to feed some rope into this exhaust port, and I'm going to put as much in there as possible. There we go. The idea behind it is when I turn this, the piston's not going to be able to go all the way up and then come back down. It'll go and get sort of stuck, and then I'll be able to undo this nut. That's the theory anyway. Holy shit, it bloody works. Look at that. Truth be told, it wasn't very fucking tight. Got that knot off. Put our mechanic's rope to the side. It's a very useful tool. So it's got a nut. I've got a washer. Now we use this flywheel puller. I have never used one before, so let's see how we go. Put that on as much as I can without doing it up tight, because I don't want to be binding up the threads. So I've got a fair amount of meat from my threads through there. So now we put this section through the guts of it and slowly start tightening that up. And for those of you that don't know, the idea is that this will push on the shaft, this will pull the flywheel off. Happy days. Put the shifter on here. So spanner on here. You'll all be screaming that it's on the threads here, but I only need this for this bike. I reckon that's cracked it already. Have a look at the state of it in there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. If this thing ever made a bloody spark that went to a spark plug, I'm surprised. That's dirtier than a $2 hooker. I can't get over how much shit is in there. Look at that. It might run a bit smoother now, it might be balanced once I clean all that out. So just having a bit of a look. I just want to see if there's any timing marks, which there is down the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that. My phone's in a mount and I can't see the whole screen. So down here, it looks to be a timing mark just here, just in here. And to be honest, like I said, I'm not a mechanic. What I'm going to do is look at that and photograph it and try to put it back in that same spot when I put it back together. It's got the two lines, they're not exactly lined up. The top line is just off to the right of the bottom line. I'll just have a bit of a look in here and see if there's any other timing marks to line it up with at the top. And there is not. It's just that timing mark there. When we do put this back together, this wire goes around here and over like that. So I'm pretty confident that I can go ahead and pull that off now. We'll go get that screwdriver that I keep forgetting to get out. Really hoping I don't need a impact to get it off. The beauty of it, having it welded on the bench, isn't it? Oh, that's that one cracked. Oh, that's that one cracked. So we'll pull these out. We've just got the screw, it's got its own little washer on it. I should be able to pull this out now. And out it comes. All the wire connections on the back look good. I'll just try to get it on the camera here. Look how filthy that is. This will... Have a look at that. Jesus Christ. They said they had this thing running. I don't know how the hell this created a spark, to be honest. But anyway, that's what they reckon's happened. I noticed when I took that off that this seal is fairly much just sitting there. I'll be ordering a new one because it is, as you can see on that, torn. And it's torn here as well. Now, I know a lot of users were saying I should be rebuilding this because I've got it, I'm pulling it completely down, I should rebuild it. To be honest, I've never rebuilt an engine before. This is the most I've ever stripped one down. My main thing is to figure out what's going on with this gearbox to get it freed up and get it back together and see if it runs. If it does, I'll be more than happy to strip it all back down again and put a rebuild kit through it and sort of teach myself how to do that. I've never done that before. But that doesn't have any play in it, that shaft. That's solid as, so that's a good sign, I guess. So I'll pop this back in there. I will be ordering this though, because yeah, it's split and all that sort of shit. Another thing, it's all about learning, like I said. I wish I had have given this all good pressure wash before I started. We'll be doing that, but it's going to be a lot harder. So now that we've got that off, we'll go around the other side. Righty, so now that we've got all the flywheel and all that sort of stuff off, we're back around to this side. Just need to take a couple more things off before we can start to split it. We've also got to take the top end off as well. So we're going to do our rope trick again, get this piston down the bottom. Now we've got our rope in there. Take our mechanics rope out. Right, so we've got the nut, washer, gear. Now I can see on this gear, this is just a mental note for me, that it's got wear mark on this edge, wear mark in the middle, and no wear mark on the inside. So that's just how I want to be putting it back. And we've also got a keyway as well, so we're popping all this in the tub together. Let's put these nuts back on just to protect these threads. I'll put that one back on as well, actually. Just got to remember when I do split the case to turn this star so it's like that, so it can go through the case. Well, might as well take these two out. These two screws out. Geez, they were pretty loose. Got it. It's remaining tight a fair bit, so hopefully it's not threaded. That thread looks good. Just got a little bit of Loctite. So we've got screw and washer. Oh, sorry, bolt and washer and nut washer, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's a thing with threads on it in the washer. So that noise I can hear is not in here, not in these bearings on the both sides. It'll be where the rod is connecting, I reckon. So time will tell with that one. Righty, our next job is take the top end off. Not done this before, so I'm going to take that off. I'm just going to unbolt it from the base, slide that off. When I go to assemble this, I'll get all the torque specifications for the bolts, and I'll go and get a torque wrench, just so, and then as much as I can to do it correctly, you know. Righty, we're ready to take this off. I'll just move the camera around so I've got a bit of room to move and all that, and hopefully you can see what's happening here. Let's have a look at what she's like in here. Crusty. Righty. We have a broken piston. Ooh, that head's fucked. Let's have a bit of a look. Can you see that big gouge in here? That bit of piston that's come off has gone through there. No big drama. We can order bits and fix bits. See, on this piston here is broken, snapped. So that might be, just thinking about this, they said the gearbox locked up, chains come off. So I'm thinking this piston, I don't know how all this works and how it connects. Could that have got into where the gearbox is and locked it up? That would make sense to me, but I don't know if that's all connected. I've never pulled something apart like this. Surprisingly moving fairly well. There's movement from this rod down to that bottom end, so I'm not sure it's supposed to have that play or not. Time will tell. So that's what I think's happened. This piston's come off, gone down and jammed up the gearbox, which has stopped the sprocket from moving, which has ripped their chain off. Alrighty, next I'll be taking this off. It actually doesn't bother me that piston's broken. This is a project bike. This is what it's all about, learning. And to be honest, if it doesn't run now, after I do this, at least it's not something I've done. It's because the piston and all that's fucked. So I feel a bit more confident pulling it apart because she's knackered anyway. I'd be stressing more if I was pulling apart an engine that was totally fine. Take the reed block out. Put a light on this and I'm going to just use it to have a look through. There's no gap, so from my understanding this reed block, if there's a gap where it meets up along here, it's no good, but looking at that into the light there's no gap. So sorry guys, I've done it again. I've just done a whole process over here with it bloody zoomed in. So I've taken the reed block out, I've had a look on the up against the light and where they meet in the middle, there's no gap in between them, so I think this will be fine. So broken piston, thinking it's worked its way in. Maybe the gearbox is alright. I highly doubt if that got into there while it was spinning. It's probably smashed up some gears. I'll get a new head and piston and all that. I'll have to talk to me mower man. He knows a lot about all this sort of stuff, so I'll get him to guide me on what would be the best way to tackle that clusterfuck that's sticking out of there. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll cut it off for here, and when we get back out to the shed I'll be up to splitting the case stage. So chuck us a comment what you think, how it's going, and I'll see you on the next one.